Welcome to the Protein MB podcast. I'm Jordan Cecilia, and today we've got a special guest that it is far past the time that we've had this gentleman on our podcast, Ron Koslowsky, Vice President of CME. That's the Canadian Manufacturers and Exporters Association. And before I get going too far into this, I would love for you to just jump in right now. Your team took on the contract and is responsible for basically giving life to the Protein MB entity. So tell us a little bit about CME and how this kind of came to be.
Well, thanks, Jordan. Good to be on the show over here. So just maybe a little background myself. I actually grew up on a farm, and a grain farm and sugar beets, and I saw the value of growing the plants and the resource we have in Manitoba from the agricultural sector. And I always wondered, how is it that we do so much in terms of growing crops, but we don't do enough of value-added manufacturing, adding value to the crops we have over here. So this whole exciting initiative was something that I bought into immediately when I heard about it. But to your question about what CME is and why CME for this particular project initiative, first of all, I think the project itself, as it was designed by industry and government and housed within government for a number of years, the intention was always, and the desire was really to move the initiative to the private sector, to have it led by private sector, and to have leadership and oversight through the private sector. Then looking at, who could do that? They looked for an organization that had a track record of managing larger projects, funded projects. And as an example, at CME, we've got a project called Made Safe, which is a safety association funded through workers' compensation. But they have their own strategy, their own logo, their own, if you will, mission. But they are working at CME over here in the office. And so that was part of the value of having CME look after this particular project, was the record we have of projects like Made Safe and others that we've run with government funding in place. The other key element, though, for CME to be chosen to be the project manager, if you will, of this particular initiative was the interest in leveraging the training programs, the events, the advisory services, the advocacy, and other services that CME has for its members to support Protein MB and the companies in that initiative to be able to capitalize on that as well. And finally, the mission really of Protein MB is very aligned with the CME mission, which is helping manufacturers grow. And so I thought, and for those reasons, we were chosen and are excited to be the project manager on this particular initiative.
Well, now I'll tell you what, it was funny because I come from now the Protein MB side, where this team got brought together and then brought into this building. And I think it was, when the interviews were going and the process was coming together to create that Protein MB team, everyone was excited about the project. And then a huge compliments to yourself and the entire team in this building. When we walked through those doors, the culture here is one of just success. Like, there's this energy here where everyone is looking to say, like, how do we support you? There is, and I think that speaks to CME as an entity who's out there with the primary goal of supporting manufacturers. Anyone that walks into the building here, Made Safe, the lean team, the workforce development team that's here, everyone kind of gets brought into this culture of how does everyone work together to help to come to that main goal. And I think, yourself and the executive team here have created that culture. And as we know, culture is what decides success.
Absolutely.
Right? If there isn't that culture, then we got a lot of great ideas, but we don't have that next step. So let's talk about some of those things that CME does bring in the HR departments for companies and the advocacy components, because I think our team for sure, we know now that we won the lottery on those funds of what's available. But I'm not sure if everyone that knows what CME does.
Yeah. Well, no, thank you for that, and absolutely. And I think it all starts from understanding our mission, as I mentioned, because when you realize that what you're doing is you're really here not for yourself or to grow your own organization, you're here to help those people, those customers, those businesses really to grow and to flourish in Manitoba. And in this case, the protein MB or the protein industry, whether plant or animal, to grow in a sustainable way in Manitoba. So that's a mission that we adopted, and we could easily translate, as I said, over to the protein MB side. So the value that we have as an association, and by the way, we have a team of about 50 people that work over here, and many of them are experts with over 25 years or more of experience in manufacturing leadership that are here to support our company. So it's a lot about how we bring people together, whether it's groups of leaders in manufacturing or teams around lean or productivity improvement. We bring people together to facilitate learning and to learn from each other, because we found that companies will learn a lot. In fact, probably more than anything, by talking to other companies to see, what did you do that works? Or what did you do that maybe we should avoid doing at lessons you've learned? So, but specifically then on the services that we have over here, it's a variety that includes things like advice, one-on-one advice for companies, for individuals, for leaders. It includes things like assessments to help you understand where you are, how you fit in relative to others in any aspect of your organization. It includes training, a number of different training programs, whether lean or leadership. It includes awareness activities. So how do we make our members more aware of things that are out there, technologies, government funded programs, you name it. And also round tables where we actually engage with our members to hear them. And that's the important thing, to hear what their needs are, what their issues and opportunities are, and then to develop the programs that I think are important to serve them in those areas. So if you want, I can just touch on the key areas that we focus on and talk a little bit about each of those.
And I definitely want that. And I'm going to throw in one other thing here
Sure.
that this is, so it's funny because doing these podcasts, I find that we have these people of excellence that come on here and they don't pump their tires enough, or they don't brag enough about the people around them. And this is what I'm going to say, because I think we're going to get into a little bit of advocacy work that gets done
Right.
here. And I think what I want people to know is, now that I've attended a Christmas party put on by CME, I've watched you and Carrie, your COO, in environments where there's decision makers and government policy makers. The command of the room that your team has and the respect in the room that your team has. It's somebody, again, I've been walking through the doors here for 6 months. I didn't, if it's not your industry, you don't know who to talk to or what to do. And this is, I think, for businesses that are growing, again, manufacturers, we hope they're seeing this, but the protein industry as well. Yourself and Carrie and the team, everyone here has made those connections, has that strength of network, where if they bring their cause to you, you know the doors to knock on. And that, to me, as someone that has worked and run their own business in an industry, knowing those connections that I'm going to either take 30 years to make, or if I can tap into the right people, that team is here. So I'll let you go on with what you guys offer. But I wanted that statement out there that the team here is cohesive and engaged.
Yeah. Well, and in addition to that, Jordan, one of the things that's really important to us is that we're not just a bunch of theoretical or people with theory as to what works and what doesn't. Most of the people that work over here have had years and years of experience in this case, the manufacturing community, in business, and as a result are able to really understand what the customers are saying and to find ways of helping them through that. So one of the key things that we have done over the past number of years is realize that especially the SME, the small and mid-sized manufacturing companies or businesses in Manitoba, they often don't really know where to turn for advice, for help, for resources, et cetera, and they're feeling alone, and they need support to grow their business. So we support the big businesses for sure, but it's the small and medium-sized businesses that really depend on us for one-on-one advice from executives, the presidents, and so on of organizations, the owners. So we do a lot of groups that, for example, focus on either getting the presidents or CEOs together in a room with one of our seasoned leaders to facilitate discussions once a month and to learn from each other. And it's a tremendous group of sharing that happens. We do that with finance leaders. We do it with operation leaders. We do it with business development leaders. We do it with supply chain leaders. We do it with lean leaders or productivity improvement. And we do it with HR. So these are just examples of the network value of learning from each other. So that's on the executive side of things, if you will. I mentioned productivity, and one of the things that we well known for across the country really is lean. How do you understand any process, whether operational, on the field, in the plant, in the office? How do you look at that process to make sure that you're really doing what's necessary for the customer, and you're doing it in the most efficient way, using a series of tools and methodologies, and even the culture that you talked about, Jordan, which is building that culture of engagement of employees. Everybody's in on this game and wanting to help the customer. So that's a lot on the productivity side, lean training, and so on. On the HR front, we have a team that's looking at how do you find the right people? How do you train the people in your organization? How do you retain them? How do you work with the educational institutes to make sure that the training that's available, both before they get into the work, but even after they're workers, to upgrade their skills that are needed as we move forward? And we also have leadership training ourselves for manufacturing leaders from level 1 up. So we interact with the education system to make sure that the young people even are aware of the career opportunities are in manufacturing, because that's so important to set the tone early on about the opportunities there. So we have supports for technology, assessments, training. We do that for the safety area that I mentioned, where we train people. We have one-on-one advisory services for safety, certification programs that allow companies to save money through certification, and other things, energy and environment and so on. And then finally, to your question about advocacy, absolutely. Our role is to be the representative of manufacturing, whether it's to government or to the education system or to others, and to aggregate the interests and the issues that our companies face, and then to bring those to, let's say, government. And I do a fair bit of that, meeting with government ministers, deputy ministers, and staff to try to convey the relevance of manufacturing, the importance of our industry, but also what is it that they can do to make this a better business environment to help our companies flourish and grow, which is really the mission of Protein MB.
Yeah, and I'm gonna, I'm gonna sum it up, because you said something to me as in passing yesterday. Another thing I love about being here is these walk-bys of all these really intelligent people, and I get these little tidbits all day long. And like you say, there's years of experience and expertise. But one of the things that you said was the ability to problem solve directly, sitting down one-on-one, or with the network, with what CME has and has generated. There's either going to be somebody in this office that can help you solve your problem, or somebody that knows someone that can bring together a group to solve a problem. And I think as a former small business owner, wishing I had known that these kind of things existed, to not have to have that weigh down on your shoulders, and to know that that's available, and financially speaking, it's not a large, like there's not, you're not going to look at somebody and say, okay, well, sounds like we got to do some consulting for you. So $10,000 up front, please, and we'll go solve this. And this is, I think, another beauty of CME is you are here for the industry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's, it's so important that we keep that focus. And, as you said, it's not just the big policy advocacy things, like on the big picture items. It's also taking a concern of one of our members who is running into a problem, having a new piece of equipment hooked up or a new expansion that has to be approved by or connected to hydro or whatever, and issues that arise over there that we can help them with by virtue of connections and knowing the right people to talk to help accelerate that and to get through the barriers and the red tape that they face, so that they can grow their business. So yeah, no, very, very important.
And continuing to that point is as Protein MB, as we start to set out on our growth and start bringing people in, this is something that we're excited for, is when we start seeing those connection points of our members, our people we're serving and supporting, looking to be able to say, hey, you realize that you're manufacturing something, or, whatever the connection may be, producers making products. How do we get them connected? And that is what we love most about this CME connection, is those experiences.
Yeah, and that's really the opportunity we have before us, and that's why I enjoy working with the team at Protein MB. We're very involved, we're very supportive, and we're basically here to say, hey, call on us if there's anything we can do to support any of our activities over here or the connections we have. Let's apply those to Protein. That was the whole vision for moving it to our organization, and we really want to make sure that this is a successful initiative going forward. So very happy to profile that.
Yeah, and I think we are profiling it in a big way. There's a dinner coming up, if I'm not mistaken, and one of our own is being honored. Tell us about that.
Well, no, that's very fortuitous in some ways, but no, very, very positive in that we have a Hall of Fame dinner that we run every year, and this is like 400 or 500 people come together at the convention center. Very well done, very high level, very few speeches, but a number of stories of companies and or individuals that have stood out and that have been recognized by a panel of the selection committee to be awarded recognition. And so we do a nice 5-minute video roughly on each of these, and those are the stories we tell. And then we have some networking and a good dinner at the same time. So that's a wonderful event that's happening on the 21st of March at the Convention Center. And if you want more information, it's on our website, CME Manitoba Hall of Fame. You'll find it over there. We'd love to see you there. Now, the beauty of this event is that among the different manufacturers and or leaders that are being recognized, the key event or the key focus of the Hall of Fame is the Hall of Fame recipient. In this case, a business leader that represents excellence in leadership, in building a manufacturing operation, but more than that, of being a part of the community, of being somebody who has the best interests of Manitoba and industry in Manitoba at heart. And the committee this year selected Dixon Gould, who just happens to also be the chair of Protein MB and a driver behind this whole initiative of the strategy for sustainable plant and animal protein. And if you listen to, and I've got to know Dixon a little bit over the past couple of years, the stories that the business acumen that he has, the way in which he operates, his leadership, his care for people, care for the community, and desire to cooperate and collaborate with everybody in terms of getting this thing forward is a story worth telling. And I'm very excited to be able to share that story with the team and with the people that come up to our Hall of Fame event. So that's one example. There's other companies that are involved in the ag business as well that are going to be recognized for different things. But with Dixon up there, I think we've got a true winner and somebody worthy of celebrating, which is really what we want to do with this event: is profile, celebrate success in Manitoba.
And I'll say this is every recipient because I went looking back through some of the old ones, and every woman and man that you have celebrated, some of them I've had contact with in my life, and now running into Dixon as he's on our board. What I've really noticed about the selections that you've made is, one, the community mindedness of these people, and two, the reason that I know them or have run across them, and same with Dixon and yourself as well, is this ability to mentor and the ability to, with kindness, guide that next generation into good decision-making processes, and the ability to get that next generation to look at the whole picture, not just I'm doing my thing and, get out of my way. Here I come to make $1 million. It's this rise up. What's that? With a rising tide, all boats float. Something like that.
Lifts all boats. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
And it's something that I've really noticed with, again, the selection process and who I see represented by the CME is those people that will bring it all up.
Well, role models are so important in life. I mean, you can see that throughout, the success ratio of people in life is fairly significantly correlated to the ability they've had to have good role models in their life. And so these are stories of role models, really. Personally, I'm getting on in years, and I'm actually going to be sort of formally stepping down at the end of March as a full-time role over here. But I'm going to be continuing on because of the passion I have for this industry and what we're doing. I'm going to be working part-time on a contract basis, but I'm looking forward to really sinking my teeth even more so into some of these things that I think I can help by virtue of the years of experience that I can bring to bear on this as well. So it's really an exciting time.
Yeah, it's that chasing success and happiness and the balance of leaving that legacy. And I see a lot of that. I see a lot of that here in just that culture of CME. So, I mean, I think we summed it up pretty good. I don't know if you need to add anything, but it's everyone's here for the betterment of just the companies that are engaged.
I agree. We've got a good team at Protein MB. We got a few people there that are doing, I think, an amazing job of getting something launched, getting it started now. It's taken a little while, but this is a complex strategy, as you know, Jordan. And we're in the process of hiring a few more people to support and add legs to the strategy so that we can do things. But we have a plan going forward in terms of engaging various people and groups that I think are going to be leading to doing some of the things that we've done at CME for the manufacturing community, but to do that for Protein MB with the producers, with the growers and the manufacturers in that sector, to make sure that they are the best connected group of people in the world to allow them to be successful.
Yeah, no, you nailed it right there. It's the plan, it's the support, and it's you've got Jillian and Kate in the background. Right. So you've got the hard work. That if it's supported with a good plan, mathematically you have to have success if that's what's going on. So I love it. I love walking into this building and seeing all the energy. So Ron, thank you so much for joining us, and look forward to seeing you around the halls even more.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Thank you very much for the conversation. It was good to hear.